A great business skill sees you control the flow of info at work. Because in today's world, we get a lot of information. People are telling us things. The internet is always a buzz, text messages, emails, phone calls. Sometimes you kind of wish we could go back a few steps and make it a little quieter. We can't necessarily do that, but we can control the information, the flow of info, so that it's not overwhelming you and you're able to focus on your most important things. So let's have a conversation. My name's Ken Okel. I'm a professional speaker. I talk to audiences about ways you can improve your performance on the job. I give insider knowledge from my time spent in broadcast news, hurricane relief, and professional ballet. Now, whoa, I know, unusual combination, but in each and every field, I had to perform at a high level every day under pressure. Our first tip is to learn how to limit your focus because there's so much information coming at you. You may need to know a lot of it, but do you need to know all of it? Sometimes we get in the habit of checking on certain things just because we're curious, but we don't necessarily need to do it. For instance, I might upload a video to YouTube and be like, hey, let's check to see how it did. Not a bad thing necessarily, but do I need to be doing that several times a day? Now, while it's nice to know, would that time be spent better elsewhere, doing other things? I can check it later. It's not essential. Think about the things that are essential for you to know, and then the things that are nice to know. Can you prune that list of the nice to know things and really limit its impact on your day? Otherwise, you may spend a lot of time getting information on things that really don't matter in the big picture. For leaders, another way you can control the flow of info is to trust your employees. I understand that you need things to be done a certain way, you need them to be done correctly, but are you sometimes getting into that micromanagement territory where you're looking over their shoulders a lot? I understand there may have been some turnover in your organization. You really want to make sure things are done correctly, but at a certain point, maybe you need to let people do their jobs. You focus on your job because if you're looking over their shoulders, you're not doing your job. And that could lead to long-term problems. My advice, try to hire good people, get them the training they need, let them do their jobs, evaluate the performance, make adjustments as needed. And of course, if it's not a good fit, well, then you need to act on it. But otherwise, what you're basically doing is like watching the washing machine do its job. Hey, you should be able to trust that if the washer seems to be working fine, you don't need to watch it. You can control the flow of information by creating some time boundaries. Yes, you need to be getting information, but how much time should you be spending researching all of it or going over it? Certain tasks should take a certain amount of time, yet we know, for instance, if you're doing research on the internet, it can be a slippery slope, and a quick little check of something could end up being 30 minutes. Maybe what you need to do is set a time limit. Okay, I'm going to research this thing for 10, 15 minutes. I'm going to set an alarm. Then I'm going to stop. Also, with your work, you really need to think about what level of quality do you need it to be. Now, I'm not saying you turn in subpar work, but for instance, if I was writing an article, the article is not going into a museum. I want to write it well, but it's not going to be a national bestseller. It needs to be written well. It doesn't need to be written with excellence in mind, with that it's going to be looked at by future generations. Probably not going to happen. It can be adequate. Adequate takes less time than excellence. Understand when something just needs to be pretty good versus where it needs to be really good. If you're spending all your time trying to be really good all the time when it really doesn't matter, well, is it any wonder that you don't have a lot of time? Another tip involves getting updates from people. Let's say you're a leader, you have several employees working for you, and they give you lots of updates throughout the day. That's good. You want to know these things. However, are they interrupting you when you're trying to do things? You're working on a report, let's say, and you're getting lots of emails with little questions. None of it's urgent, but you have to stop, answer it, then get back to what you were doing. I lost my train of thought. Here's my suggestion. Talk to your employees. Obviously, if there's something that's an emergency or extremely urgent, they should come to you right away. But let's say there are things that are more like updates, nothing's too spectacular about them. You need the information or the question is important, but it's not timely. For those requests, can your employees start an email? Maybe make 2 of these a day, one in the morning, one in the afternoon, where they list the things, the questions they have, or the developments that happened. Those are all in one email. They send in one in the end of the morning, they send one in the end of the afternoon. That way, instead of getting, let's say, 10 emails from that one person about, oh, this happened, that happened. Oh, do you know about this? Hey, what should I do about that? You're getting 2 emails with all these items in them. You can then go through quickly, respond to them all. Instead of having to respond, as I said, to 10 or 20 messages, you're responding to 2 big messages. This actually can save you a lot of time and just keep you in that good performance frame of mind where you're not interrupted so much. Final tip, it's very important to evaluate how things are going. I suggest trying these tips, let's say for a few weeks, a month or 2, give it a chance, and then see how things are working. Should you try to adjust things, improve things? Did none of it work? That's okay. The important thing is that you are evaluating your progress and you're thinking about, how am I using my time best? That's really the goal there, because I have some ideas and some suggestions. Ultimately, I think you can discover what fits best for you and your industry. So give it a try. Don't be afraid to adjust things. Your time is a valuable resource. Invest it well. For more about me, go to my website, kenokel.com. While there, you can find out more about me, read some of my other articles. You can listen to my podcast, The 2-Minute Takeaway, and watch some clips from my speaking presentations. Thanks so much for watching. I'm Ken Okel. Take care.